Once there was a hunter who saw what others could not. With a magic case in her backpack, she roamed with wild abandon into the great unknown. Her gaze inescapable, her reflexes lightning fast. When armies swarmed, she went through. With eyes open wide, hands steady, holding, watching, capturing everything in sight.
The Crucial Pro DDR5 RAM kit comes with a sleek, modern look that will complement any build. But aesthetics aside, it's the performance that really matters. So let's dive into it. The default JEDEC timings are 46, 45, 45, but it does come with 2 XMP and Expo settings for those looking for a little more performance. With XMP 3.0 Profile 1, you can push the speed up to 5600 megatransfers per second. If you prefer a slightly lower speed but tighter timings, Profile 2 offers 5200 megatransfers per second at 42, 42, 42 timings. We've run some benchmarks and stress tests to give you an idea of how it performs. In general, dropping the speed and tightening the timings with the second XMP/Expo profile yielded better results for us on our test system. Paired with a Ryzen 7800X3D, we saw anywhere from a 1 to 5% performance bump depending on workloads. All in all, the Crucial Pro DDR5 64GB RAM kit by Micron is a fantastic choice for first-time builders and enthusiasts alike.
Welcome back to the Esports Club presents Showdown series for Valorant Season 7, powered by Crucial by Micron and of course our media partner Gossip.gg. We are back once again with the upper brackets matchup between these 8 teams who will be competing for the grand prize here at the Showdown series. I'm your caster for today, Babagusta. Alongside with me I have my co-caster Auzora Aiden, as we are here once again on day 2 of this series. So Auzora, we had 2 amazing matches yesterday, 2 of the most amazing matches where it did ended up all the way up to the deciders, and now on day 2 we still have 2 more matches for upper brackets, and it's going to be an amazing one though.
It will be, of course. I mean, the way all of the teams are going to have their debuts, I'm just waiting for their intensive action to be showcased in Season 7. All of this time, yes, 710 was one of the teams that was there in amongst all the shadows, and they were just lurking around, understanding how the entire circuit is working. But finally, now is the time where they're going to shine, and today is going to be an epic matchup at the Showdown series.
Absolutely. We have a lot of reigning champions all the way up from Season 1 to Season 7. We have newcomers, like you said, debut teams joining in towards the playoffs, and especially in the qualifiers, they had to fight tooth and nail just to get a spot right here at the Showdown series. And I have to say, the entire tournament format itself, just by looking at the team participating for this tournament itself, is quite high. So the amount of competition that heads in, especially in the Indian esports tournament, it's quite a lot, and I'm really excited to see what kind of plays do we get to expect from these 2 teams.
Likewise, man, likewise. Things are going to get heated up to the point where every single one of them might break down. I'm talking about the opponents. It depends upon the situation, but yes, talking about the prize pool, the way things have been formed already, well, we all are here for the treat. And what are they fighting for? Let's just look at that.
Yep, a total prize pool of 1 lakh INR split between first, second, and third place. First place will be a total of 50,000 rupees. Second place with a total of 30,000 INR, and of course, third place 20,000 INR respectively. So they'll be fighting for the grand prize of 50,000 INR. And let's not forget, we also have our very own level up leaderboards, right? The level up leaderboards will be the penultimate ranking system, especially all the way up from season 1 to season 7, to showcase their talents and to, basically showcase their talents as well, especially in the Showdown series. And I have to say, the amount of change that we've expected is absolutely exceptional.
There's a legacy from season 1 to season 7. And talking about level up, we were having the entire conversation, right? We can revolve around that coming forward. The top 3 players are going to get the right goodies, which is going to be like a handsome reward for all of their hard work. And the legacy has been retained from season 1 to season 7. 6 was all online, but 7, the Esports Club thought about just pitching a bit more top-notch performance, and we are all here on this beautiful set. We are all enjoying it alongside all of these players as well, who are showcasing their individual talents.
Yeah, and talking about the leaderboards itself, Doxer on first place, a total of 56 maps. Caramel on the second place, and of course third, Ceylon, with a total of 51 maps. So when it comes to the leaderboard itself, there has been quite a lot of changes, especially in the previous matchup that we did get to cast with me and Azura Aiden. So yeah, all in all, I have to say, taking a look at the brackets as well, in the upper brackets and lower brackets, we do get to see the current score that's happening here right now.
That's right. The current score, it needs to be currently at that very moment itself, how teams are going to go ahead and showcase their individual gameplays. We all have understood from yesterday's performance, 3 mappers is what we saw, but today there might be something different. Today is the time where all of these teams are going to be going ahead and showcasing their individual talent alongside reaching towards the upper bracket semi-finals. 2 lucky teams or 2 teams who are going to have that perfect gameplay on their cells. But other than that, there's another part to it, right? They still have that safety cushion. They can head towards the lower brackets and from there on showcase their gameplay and tell that, you know what, we still deserve to be here. We deserve to have this spot.
Yep. We just like we take a look at the brackets as well, we had Zero Frags versus Amigos. It went all the way up to the deciders, 1-2. Amigos Esports proceed to the next round. And also the second matchup, 120 FPS versus Asterisk. 120 FPS will be the team that will proceed into the next matchup at upper bracket semi-finals. We also have a lower bracket matchup as well between Asterisk and ZeroFrags.exe, which will happen in day after tomorrow. Actually, in tomorrow itself, hopefully, once we get the proper schedules right. All in all, the 2 matches that we're going to have will be a banger, that is for sure, because the upper bracket, the upper bracket matchup itself is always like a starting point, right? The point where we will see some minor upsets. We won't see the exact same thing that has happened in the previous seasons on season 6 or season 5. I mean, let's not forget, Asterisk, the team, have secured for almost over 3 or 4 seasons, right? They currently dominated the entire tournament. And right now, we are currently seeing Asterisk on the bottom of the brackets itself. They're currently in the lower brackets and they have to fight tooth and nail once again in order to get back up on track.
Well, that's true. In fact, the mistakes that they committed yesterday, that itself was a big example of why they're towards the bottom side of it, the lower bracket. So I'm hoping that they rectify all of those mistakes and moving forward, all of those matchups, whichever they're going to go through, they're going to showcase their individual gameplays. But talking about today's first matchup, we have our map veto right in front of us. And yes, it's going to be a banger of a start already. I can feel the heat. It's going to start from Bind, a 2-sided map, and then later on head towards Haven, which is a 3-sided map. So the possibilities are abundant, and later on heading towards Pearl nonetheless. I am just loving it.
Yeah. I mean, the most of the maps that we talked about, obviously being Ascent, Bind, and Haven, 3 of the most vanilla maps that we talked about. Right now in the Decider, we get to see Pearl being picked. But unfortunately, it's at the Deciders, but not to worry. Bind and Haven will be an interesting one to look at between TEN and TC. So all in all, Bind, once again, we might expect to see, when it comes to the agent select, once again, we will expect like a double controller composition or maybe a double initiators with either heavy aggressive playstyle or a heavy defensive playstyle. It really depends on the side that they go first on. So that would be the thing on Bind, right?
So here's a big part of it, right? Whenever you're getting the dual controller, you have the perfect combination of yin and yang,
Yeah.
right? One can act as a positive reinforcement and the other one can be a collateral beauty. We're talking about Viper here. Whenever Viper has been picked in the map of Bind, it has given immense results. And with that itself, all of these teams, I believe they might get down with the same kind of synergy or strategy. But eventually, it's a debut match of 7-10 against the Covenant. So I'm still wondering if 7-10 are planning on to doing the same things, or they're planning for the same synergy, or it's going to be something different, because the entire roster itself reeks of one thing, that they are going to be aggressive to the point where every single team right in front of them, they're just going to be crumbling in fear. So I'm hoping that they're ready for it. I'm talking about the Covenant, and 7-10 for them, it's a debut, then it's a pressure on them as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's pressure for both of them because they were, since, like you said, they are making their debut. So let's take a look at the agent select as well and see what kind of agents would they go in for the pick on map Bind. And looking on the side of the Covenant, we have a double initiator comp, Fade and the Gecko. On the side of 10-7, we have, I believe, a double initiator comp again, once again. It's just a different agent. Instead of bringing in the Fade, it is Breach. Breach, a very powerful initiator when it comes to executing the site. The fault lines really well when it comes to taking, when it comes to concussing players with the ones which they have Bucky or Judge. So especially the ones who are playing close range, it will definitely help in neutralizing most of those certain situations.
Right. So he's also going to be having the task of enabling the duelist as well, especially in all of those corners of lamps, going ahead and showcasing his razor blade all across just to create a concussion. And yes, who can forget Rolling Thunder? That's one of the key components in order to get the site access. Moreover, they're starting in the defensive side itself, so they're going to push the attack to the point where they're not going to see the site at all. But yes, that's just speculations. And talking about the other end, Fade, she's a really, really good initiator. And the way she can go ahead and use her prowlers to get the information alongside chase the opponents from that particular corner, flush them out, that's like the royal A card.
Yeah. The Prowlers definitely helps, especially with the mixture of Fade is that not only is a great initiator when it comes to information, but it's also a great agent when it comes to, you know, blinding the opponent or nearsighting the opponent with the help of those Prowlers as well. Right. So all in all, the thing about Bind is that there's always 100% pick on certain agents, and that agent is none other than Raze. The duelist that can easily maneuver from site to site. It's like satchel charges all the way. Like, what is acceleration? What is speed? I don't need movement. I don't want to walk from one place to the other. I'll just use my satchel charges and travel just from one place to the other. That is how powerful Raze is on, especially on the map Bind, because there are so many close tight corridors, like you said, on lamps, on the hooker side, where basically Raze can dominate most of those particular places, right?
Well, true. With the same amount of pressure or same amount of speed, velocity, let's just directly head in towards the first game. Bind is going to be the first map, and we all know the action is going to get intensified. It's against 7-10 versus Covenant, and we all are here for the treat.
Absolutely. 10-7 versus Covenant. This will, like you said, a debut, especially in the playoffs for Season 7 Showdown series. And I'm really excited to see how well the map Binds favors for both of them. Followed up with the agents. And also, I think that if I have to make a certain prediction, I would more likely want to see Pearl, because I like watching newer maps, right? Maps like Pearl and Abyss usually gets banned most of the time. So, like, the normal maps that we do get to expect is either Ascent, Bind, or Split, right? It's either of those three maps. But yeah, talking about right now, it's 10-7 versus the Covenant. Winner takes all. The winner proceeds to the next phase of the upper brackets. And the loser of this matchup will head in towards the lower brackets and tries to fight another day in the double elims. But all in all, the match is set, the stage is open, and without any further ado, let's just start things off at the pistol rounds.
Well, at one side, it is Tricky, Paradox, Kohli, alongside Kiboshin. We all have seen them having that individual prowls in their belt. Similar goes with the entire action as well. Kiboshin, now he is there towards the hexagon, just waiting for the right amount of execution. But look at the way Kiboshin uses his dizzy. It was a bit premature from the opponent, but yeah, Kiboshin just makes it perfect. goes for the second frag as well. And now the entire train has been derailed from the likes of Kohli, the last man standing. What can he do? He's going to be taken down. Deadly could not do much there.
Yeah, 10-7, a strong start on their defensive hold. They will win the pistol round, 7-10. And talking about the side of the Covenant, like you said, especially with the flashes that we did get to see from Gecko, it was a 2v1 situation. Even if the flashes didn't get caught out from the enemy side of Gecko, he would eventually still get caught out from that 1v2 gunfight. But all in all, a strong start for 7-10. And now with the economy advantage that they have right here, they will make sure to keep themselves some good momentum as best as possible. And talking about the Covenant, looks like they're making an explosive approach once again in towards the hooker.
You know, usually we don't see a deadlock coming in, but the deadlock always is deadly in this particular map. Whenever it comes to the barrier mesh, it provides a lot of blockage, just seals shuts the entire action. And Snowflex, he was the last man standing, but for now, he's not going to be seeing the dawn of the daylight for this particular round. But here's the thing, they managed to drop 3 weapons in the previous round, the Covenant. And that's a big W for them. Moving forward in the third round, finally, they have the money. They can go ahead for that buy. And with those buys, you can see a lot of Phantoms alongside Vandals. So I'm just expecting and I'm hoping that the Covenant can finally break the silence. But on the other end, there's a bonus buy coming in for 7-10.
Yeah, bonus buy. I mean, you have the Sheriffs from Kibojin, you have the Stingers from Kohli, the Outlaw from Tricky, Paradox, and One Tap God. Both of them will be having the Bulldog as usual. So in the bonus round, it will be difficult for the defenders. And just like I talk about it, Tricky just immediately gets his first frag from the Outlaw, right, taking out the controller itself, making it difficult for them to execute the site.
You know what's the funny part? The controller, he chose to go for the half shields or the regen shields. One shot of the Outlaw is equal to 140. So anywhere to the body, the player just poof, is gone.
Yeah.
So, and the other 3, they were having full shields all across. It was not them who came into the radar. That's the luck that the controller had for the likes of the Covenant. The early loss is for sure gonna sting them a lot.
Yeah, but the execute needs to happen though from the Covenant. So they're not going to, stop just because they've lost their controller. So you can see Muffin just gets 2 kills back to back. But here comes Kohli from the backside in towards Lamps. The Stingers will claim 2 kills, followed up with the other to provide 7-10 the lead that they need. They've also secured the bonus round. And they also have the weapons that they stole from the opponents, which means they have all the Vandals and the Phantoms in their hands. And looks like Paradox will still stick with the Bulldog itself, just to rely. He's like, let me save some economy instead of wasting it, which is in fact a good idea because you'd never know if you lose this round. Hopefully in the next and the other next round, you don't have to go for a full eco or a full save.
I would like to quote Muhammad Ali here. Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. That's what it did. The Stinger did get a couple of frags, but now is the time where they yet again have to prove themselves. The Covenant, they're still planning on for a good execution, but here's the thing, they're stuck in the corner. Muffin Senpai was good for 1, but Paradox quick to claim the spoils, and one by one the entire team is just crumbling down with the weight of just having Sheriffs in their hand. 7-10. They're just sending them home as soon as possible. This round was the quickest earlier to the pistol round.
Man. 4-0. I mean, they've even lost the pistol rounds, the bonus round, and the round next to it because they had no other choice but to go in for a forced eco round, right? So they had no other choice but to head in for the Sheriffs. But hopefully in this round, maybe they'll be able to find some good value out of it. Unless and until we get to hear the showstopper from 7-10 that could claim quite a lot of HP, quite a lot of casualties from the side of the Covenant. So at the early rounds itself in the first half, the Covenant are not looking good, especially in the first half of Bind. It's going to be so problematic, and Tricky immediately knows that there is one player who's very close. He's very nearby, but he really needs to be careful of that line of sight. The aggressiveness pays a boon for Tricky. He finds one, gets back to safety, and now Covenant, once again, they are in big trouble.
Oh, big trouble. Sonic sensors being popped right off. Paradox, he knows a couple of players are going to be there, and he pops their head right off like it's a watermelon. Now, last two players standing. What can they do? Maximum what they can achieve is go for a post plan. That's it. No more positioning coming in from their end. The man count disadvantage is definitely gonna sting them till the very end. They are spamming through. Specs, he's currently checking all of those corners out, taking it off the box, saying that, you know what, this is all done right, dusted. There's no one peeking from that absurd corner, but One Tap God is still lingering around. He knows this is the place where the opponents are gonna push from, and he's just waiting it till the very end.
Yeah, they have no other choice, but somehow Sonic finds a turnaround, a headshot to take out One Tap God, but can he figure out a way to take out Kibojin, yeah, sorry about that. Kibojin. So yeah, pushes will be made, but yeah, in the end it will be Paradox who gets the frag, and with Specs all by his lonesome in towards the shower, will place both of the smokes in towards the other side, gets one. There is still a chance to win a 1v3 positioning, but it's not gonna happen. Tricky just goes in for a jump shot with the AWP, secures it, and 7-10 with a massive lead of 5-0.
My goodness, they haven't gotten a single round to breathe. At this point, it's not the Covenant, it's terms and conditions.
Yeah,
to which they have already applied for it. They're like, it's all right, do whatever you want to do, but we are somehow going to take 1 or 2 exit frags. But the exit frags are not the things that will provide you a round. You need to move around, have that deadly maneuver in your hands. You have the entire setup, the entire lineup, which will help you till the very end. It's about damn time. You need to wake up. The Covenant.
Yeah. Talking about right now, the push will happen though, as One Tap God secures 2 back-to-back in towards the lamps. The defensive positions from 10-7 is looking really powerful. And for the Covenant, unfortunately, they are back at the same wrong positions. But maybe this round could be a massive turnaround for the Covenant, as they figure out a way to equalize the man count in a 5-0 situation. Now it's all up to Tricky. He finds one, pops out the grenade. No, he just dashes to safety. He hears the teleport sound, so he knows that the site will be planted towards B.
This can be a potential round coming in for the likes of the Covenant, but the HP is way too low, 28. But the Nightfall will be a game changer. Tricky, once he comes into the same radius, the radar, he won't be able to hear anything around him. Tricky, he knows how to thread the needle, he knows how to reel back the round, and he goes for it, swings, and he doesn't miss at all. Not even a single utility deployed from his end. Not at all giving that ounce of information from where Tricky is coming through. The tricks are all there in the Pandora box, and one by one, they're unleashing it against the Covenant.
You know, the fun part about it is that, especially in the starting of the stream, I actually talked about how powerful Raze is when it comes to using those satchel charges. I believe Tricky heard it and said, you know what, I ain't gonna use a single charges and I'll still get the clutch that he gets. 1v3 with the AWP, and next thing you know, he's currently at the top of the leaderboards as well. 10 kills, showstopper still not used yet. And 10-7, oh boy, they're looking even more powerful as ever, and especially for the Covenant. What can they do in this situation? I mean, they've been forced on Ecoron multiple times. They don't have enough economy to proceed in these certain situations. And Kibojin using that pixel angle where he almost finds the head, but unfortunately it went through the wall, which means that the damage will be negated slightly. But the attack will be set. It will be in a Covenant. They really need to win this one.
Oh yeah, they're desperately trying it as well, but One Tap, look at him. He did know the exact location, opening up the sky and then going ahead and getting that one frag that he deserves. Now, it's all about the pushback. It's all about how you can go ahead and seize the entire control, because it's a post-spawn situation coming forward. Orbital strike yet again, but this time it's from the opponents. And one by one, they're getting those frags. 10-7. They are stuck in such a dicey situation. One towards Cubby, and Snowflex, he's getting shot right across the box, but still so adamant that he's going to hold that angle down to the wire. It's 1v2 now. Kohli, it's all onto his shoulders. Couple of players way too low. It's still potentially possible for him to clutch the round. All he needs to do is aim and shoot, but no, he did not get that living chance to do that. Finally, the Covenant gets the first one, and the silence has been broken.
Yep. Even with the amazing orbital strike that you did get to witness from One Tap God in towards Lamps, One Tap God, sorry, in towards the lamps, taking out the Gecko to ensure that the entire lamp control is there. The pressure was just too much. The Covenant made sure that the amount of aggressive maneuvers they tried to apply as best as possible. They secured the site, they secured the post plant, and most importantly, almost most of the abilities were used at the starting ends of the round, making it difficult for 10-7 to defend in the post plant situation. And followed up, the Covenant winning this round will give some morale boost in a way that maybe they could salvage some rounds back in round number 8, and hopefully having the neural theft, at least getting a single kill and providing with those information could be the best bet to determine which side would be the best to execute.
It's still a wait game. They have left the spike, thinking that let's go in for the last moment of switcheroos, but all of these shots coming in from Kohli has just denied the entire access from Shah's area itself. Look at Muffin Senpai, so low on HP, and still he's thinking about going ahead and getting that orb. It's far away. It's way too far. If you need a showstopper, you need to get all of those frags, but the Dizzy comes through. It's going to be a combined effort coming in forward, but that effort, one by one, it's dwindling down, but it's a big frag. One tap god, he's been taken out. No more smokes coming forward, but he has done all of his part. Specs still trying his level best to enter towards the lamps area, but it's not going to be that easy. The entire lot of the defenders are already waiting. Post round coming forth. Kibojin, good for one. Muffin Senpai has been taken right off, but he doesn't know about the second player, but he does. He looks around the corner and he flicks. Kibojin gets the fourth as well. With that, the entire round sends the wingman for the defusal, and the seventh one comes through for 10-7.
Quad kill for Kibojin and another round win for Team 10-7. 7-1 is the scoreline, although I'm pretty sure that's exactly why they named it 10-7. Because you'd never know. At the end of the first half, we might see a 10-7 scoreline. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, currently right now, looking at the Covenant's perspective right now, they've only secured one point at the moment, and they're not looking good. Especially on pistols, especially on bonus rounds, even on the next future rounds as well. They've even lost post-plant situations too, when Kibojin ended up securing a quad kill. His location was unknown. They are not getting information on the certain players, and because of that, they are losing in so many situations.
Yep. Now, beginning itself, Muffin Senpai good for one, but the second one is not going to be that easy. There's a flank coming through, but in the midst of all of that, Sonic, he's not the hedgehog. He cannot run as soon as possible. But in the midst of all of that, there's going to be a postman coming in. There comes a rolling thunder. And with that, the entire squad has to skedaddle through. Kohli just playing it to perfection. And with all of this, there is still that taking spike. Paradox trying to at least catch a player or two. But in the middle of all of that, it's Specs who's just going to be mowing down the opponent. It's a 2v2. Potentially, the Covenant has the round with the man count advantage that they have. Tricky, way too low on 40 HP. The shots need to be aligned, but the 1 HP was the only problem. The Covenant getting the second one, Babagasta. And from here on, I'm feeling that they're already understanding what kind of strategy 10-7 is utilizing at this point of time. Even though they got the full early frag, the follow-up came through, but still they managed to go in for the post-plant and later on managed to shut down Kohli as well. So that's a big blunder coming in from 10-7.
Yeah, and the best part about the Covenant is that they knew that 10-7 would go in for an aggressive approach. They would push all the way towards Hookah, and all they did was just play for picks, play all the way from the backside, hold the important lines of sight, wait for them to arrive right at their crosshairs. And once they realize that, wait a minute, we just lost Hookah, then that means it's best to head in towards the A side. They did that. They went in for the plant, and all they had to do was just rely on post-plant situations where they did eventually secure that important round. 7-2. Let's not forget, Deadlock also has the ultimate as well. So is Thrash. So for 10-7, they have a really powerful disables that could definitely bring the Covenant a bit of a difficult situation, though, if they end up in certain post-plant situations.
Now Paradox. He knows he needs to play it smartly. Barrier mesh pointed towards Hexagon itself, just waiting for the entire push. There comes the Covenant, thinking to head towards the side, but no! Kohli out of nowhere, the random sprays are going to connect right on the head with a Spectre nonetheless. And one by one, Tricky is just going to be taking down all of these players, but it's Specs who's still standing tall to all of the shenanigans that 10-7 is providing, but the man-count advantage. This feels like the third round all over again, where Gecko and Brimstone both were alive, but unfortunately they were not able to reel in the round. Can they do it this time though? They have good weaponry, they have the utilities as well, but the corners, it needs to be contested, it needs to be checked close right corner, Dizzy in hand! And there you go. The entire team crumbles because of the team effort coming in from 10-7.
Yeah, I still have to admire Kohli's Aftershock though. It covered half of the hookah place, half of it. And especially, let's not forget, there was a smoke that was covering the Aftershock.
Yeah.
And the Rays was like, you know what, I think it's just a small line of sight. I don't have to worry about it. Next thing you know, the explosion happened 3 times and the Rays is like, well, my time has come. He just disappears out of nowhere.
Houdini.
Yeah, he just disappeared. And yeah, talking about it, it's 8-2, and Deadlock still has the Annihilation, so is the Thrash. And for 10-7, they're just like racking up their ultimates so quickly. And for the Covenant, they also have the Showstopper and the Orbital Strike. So they have to think about it at the right moment, but the explosion!
Oh!
Tricky, my god! He is popping off left, right, and center, and Kohli on the other side to take out the players in towards the showers. And 10-7, they are looking unstoppable.
Last round in the half.
Man, they're playing on the front foot. Kohli especially. The way he's speaking around the block, it's like he knows, he anticipates those kind of movements coming in from the opponents, and they're reading them like a book. Not gonna lie. First off, the Showstopper comes in, couple of players just die because of that, and later on the Cypher is fallen down yet again. And the economical crunch which TC is facing at this point, I believe that they have left their consciousness at the front doorstep, man.
It's like their souls are being transformed into another dimension. But yeah, it's just a metaphor, folks. Just don't worry about that. But yeah, Prowler will definitely catch things off for the other side. But Sonic and Muffin, both of them realizing their aggressive attempts in towards the teleports, they will secure those 2 important kills, leaving 10-7 at a disadvantageous situation of their man count. It's 3-5. Not a single player from the Covenant has been destroyed.
Oh, there you go.
Wrong? What could go wrong?
The Demolition Derby starts now. There is going to be an orbital strike. HP way too low. Muffin Senpai with 20 HP. He's going in for that Showstopper. He might potentially find the connection, but no, he misses. But the shots are always going to be imminent. The follow-up equally good. The Annihilation is available, but Annihilation should be used in this round because there's no point in saving it for the next half. Paradox, what can he do? Couple of players way too close. They're just waiting for the right opportunity, and right after this pre-fire, they would know the exact location. But Specs and the Cypher, both of them, they're playing it till the very end. Subtle. And 9-3, ladies and gentlemen. But is it a good 9-3 or a bad one? Because a good one yields to a good result. A bad one is a curse.
There could be another scoreline though. 10-7. I mean, it's 9-3.
Oh.
They might win the pistol round. I mean, if the Covenant wins the pistol round, it could be a 10-7. It's like the prophecy has already answered. Yeah, talking about the factoid right here, One Tap God is the real beast when it comes to entry fragging. It's got pinpoint accuracy with rifles and thrives in clutch moments, often creating opportunities for his teams to take control of the map. We also did get to see that in the first half as well, when One Tap God was holding on laps, multi-kills, and let's not forget, he's not playing as the duelist, neither is playing as the initiator. He's playing as a controller. So not only he is providing a lot of support, but he's also fragging both at the same time. As we take a look at the first frag, it will go at the favor for the Covenant as Senpai gets one.
But through that, smokes all across. It's a bad time to be alive and kicking around the side itself. Specs, good flick and a half, gets the second one as well. One tap God. For now, he's not going to be the one who's fragging out. They are instead being fragged right in. Muffin Senpai, low HP, doesn't matter. There's an entire team waiting for the cleanup crew, and there comes Specs. He gets the third and the round as well. The Covenant, they are starting things in the second half with a banger, getting the pistol and now the bonus as well.
Yeah. And now, currently, I could say that it's on the side of 10-7 who will be facing a major problems from their end when it comes to their economy. So, forcing with just sheriffs, you still, the thing about it is that you always need to know that even though it is an eco round, even though they have a lot of problems when it comes to engaging 1v1s, with the difference between a sheriff and a stinger, there is still a chance where you can get those shots. The only difference is you need to be really accurate on it, especially when you have weapons like the sheriff, which has a certain kill range of around, I'm guessing around 5 meters. So if a player is really close near 5 meters, that sheriff is a one-tap headshot. This even includes on certain shotguns like the shorties, which is really powerful as well in close range. But the only problem in eco rounds is that you cannot engage players in long range. The only thing you can rely on are just abilities that could help either in flashes or smoke, get closer as best as possible, then head in for the exchange. That's why eco rounds are very difficult. And I'm just really curious to see how 10-7 will, head in and see how their response would be. I mean, you also have the subtle charges as well, right? It could help in close the gap and reach in on, close kills. Maybe we might see Raze get control over lamps. We might see the other teams push in towards showers, and maybe some gaining control in towards the side. That could happen. That's the usual competitive push that we expect on every game on Bind Valorant. But I mean, this is professional, right? This is professional esports, so you never know.
They're playing to make their name.
Yeah.
They're playing their hearts out there. And the Covenant finally having their bonus. I want to see how they can convert this following round. I can only see Snowflake's not having any weapon. It's just because of the tech pause. Right after the tech pause gets removed, he is going to engage into going ahead and buying a weapon for himself. But the bigger question is they need to convert multiple rounds. It's not that let's just go ahead, get the first 2 rounds and the third one is like imminent. It's okay, we can lose that. No, you have to win that as well if you need to inch close against 10-7. This team has those kind of players who have been in this circuit, tier 1, tier 2, every single place. They have showcased their individual gameplays, and in a team as a complete whole pack, they can just go ahead and rip apart any single opponent that comes right in front of them. They have that kind of a caliber. So going against them, you need to have a master plan. This tech pause is going to provide them the time to assess, to analyze what needs to come forth. And we used to talk about game of chess, right? Yeah. It's about anticipating what your opponent's move is going to be and think like 5 steps ahead of him. This is that time for the likes of the Covenant. They cannot be the chill guys out there.
Yeah, I have to agree. The thing about strategy is that you really need to think ahead, right? You have to predict, you need to adapt, you need to see what kind of play styles would a certain player do. And let's not forget, I do have to agree for the fact that on the side of 10-7, you have players from tier who are currently competing on tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 competitions, especially with very, very well-known players like Paradox, One Tap God, Tricky, and Kohli. So having it's like an all-star team, right?
Yeah.
It's like an all-star team where the Covenant is currently the one facing the major issues, mainly just because of their experience. But you clearly get to see the amount of performance that they are giving in this match specifically, right? On map bind. Even though we do get to see 10-7 go with their aggressive approach, the Covenant, they still fight back, they still defend, they still move on, they still plant the spike, and somehow it's always a 1vx situation or a 2vx situation where sometimes 10-7 would win, but the Covenant, they always stick to their game plan, right? So always. The only thing that I can say for the Covenant is that they're gaining so much experience from this, right? They finally understood that yes, especially when it comes to a professional scene, you will see many players make a certain plays like this. We might see them go aggro on showers, or maybe this is the certain play style where they would go for a higher aggressive push on choke controls. But yeah, talking about another factoid right here, I believe it's Muffin Senpai, who is incredibly versatile, able to switch from aggressive entry fragging on Duelist to holding down critical angles on controller. His adaptability makes him a new player for the Covenant, no matter the situation.
Of course. Every single time I see Muffin Senpai, he is bringing in those early duels and getting that man count advantage, and hence they could win the pistol round. Mind you guys, it was against Paradox, the battle. But the way he just flicked right across thinking that this is the moment for him to shine was just beautiful. And that's the reason he's the key player for the likes of the Covenant. And This is just a factoid, guys. For more factoids, you have to hang around more. But the technical pause is soon going to be lifted right off the bat. And from here on, we're going to head directly into the game. And with this, commences the Slaughterfest as the defenders. They have the bonus weapons, Spectres, Bulldogs all across. And from here on, no matter what the entire push is going to seem like, even though the call-outs have been given, that it's going to be a sharp push. And this control is all about getting that orb. That's it. From there on, Paradox, Muffin Senpai made a big mistake and he's going to give away a weapon in free.
Yeah. A very quick teleport though from Muffin Senpai from the teleport itself, not only giving away his position, but there weren't a proper support from the Gecko as well, providing with the flashes and most of the stuff that you'd help with wingmans, right? So with him being out of the picture, there goes your duelist, there goes your explosive defensive mechanics. So all in all, for 10-7, you could say they are currently at the driver's seat, but the Covenant, they are still defending, and hopefully with this execute, we might see some major changes though. But this fault line could be the make it or break it moment.
One.
There goes the Sentinel Snowflakes. They are planning the spike, and 10-7 right now they're the ones at advantage.
All hail the Wingman. Wingman's is going ahead and doing the heavy lifting. The barrier mesh is right in front. Sonic way too low on HP, but thanks to the regen shield, he has 25 on it. But how long can he stand there? Sonic gets the first one. Kohli right in front, but he's lurking inside the smoke. The moment the smoke fades away, he needs to go ahead and peek around the corners. Specs on the other end, he's taking players one by one. Paradox, he's not giving in. He's still going in for the fight. It's a 1v2. This potentially can be a clutch, but there comes Deadly. There comes a swing and he never misses. The fifth comes on board as the spike has already been diffused by the defenders.
Yep, dual peak for the win. And for the Covenant, although the timing was a little bit late, but Deadly was there at the right time to take out the frag that he, to take out the trade that he desperately wanted. So it's 9-4. Actually, it's not 9-4, it's 9-5. And the Covenant, what a way to display their comeback in the second half itself, which could definitely place 10-7 in a difficult situation though. But once again, they have like good weaponry. You have the regen shields from Tricky. You even have great weapons from Phantoms and Vandals. Although the same cannot be said for the Covenant though, as they've lost quite a lot of weapons in the previous round itself. So it will be a difficult defensive plays from coming in from the Covenant.
They have to play on angle. They have to heavily rely on the entire team to go ahead and function as an entire unit, but there's only one player who's sticking towards A side as the entire gamble stack was there towards B. One going in for that adventure, heading towards the spawn of the attackers and then heading towards the site, which will be a big mistake because Breach is already holding the angle down to the wire. One tap god getting the real estate that they deserve, and they got it at the right time as well. Kohli, one tap god. There goes Muffin Senpai alongside Specs.
Yep, just like that, that is a flawless round coming in from 10-7. And I have to say, the Covenant can, end the score count on a 10-7. I'm still hoping for it. I know I'm still sticking with the plot because the name of the team is 10-7, and maybe they want to end the score count on 13-7. Maybe not. But yeah, jokes aside,
I admire your valiant effort.
Yeah, thanks. But sometimes my prediction always comes true, right? I mean, map-wise, maybe sort of, but yeah, when it comes to the live match predictions, not so much from my end. Yeah, 10-7. Annihilation is active for Paradox, but Tricky is like, nope, I'll just get a headshot and get picked out instead.
Ooh. That's a big brunt force approach coming in. 10-7 still, they're having that, runner's hike at this point. They're rushing directly inside the site. They know that they can successfully go in for the plant, and they have the information about the player as well. Deadly is still lingering around the corner. Kibojin shuts him down, and from there on, it's all going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy for them to hold the entire site till the very end. Sonic, you need to go aside in order to use that regen shield, but he's still stuck to that fight. He's like, nope, let me just go ahead and win this one and then later on convert it. But 11 is what we can see. My God, 11-5.
11-5.
It's like daylight robbery in the map of Bind.
Yeah, 2 more rounds left, and 10-7 will secure their first map on Bind in the Showdown series. And yeah, talking about this entire matchup itself, the Covenant, once again, they are giving their best shots. But you can clearly see the way how 10-7 are going in with those executes, right? Triple smokes followed up with... actually, you know what? I'll talk about it at the end of the round, though, because right now, 10-7, they are not going to stop, not 1 inch. Because the way how they're, aggressively executing towards the side, it's just that they're not giving any time for the Covenant to even fall back, to try to reposition, or maybe give them a slight break to, hopefully to try to get those kills as best as possible. But the amount of shots that I'm seeing, though, maybe there is a chance. Gecko gets 3, so is the Fade. Now it's all up to Kibojin in a 1v2 situation. He still has the Phantom in his hand, but maybe they have a weapon upgrade. No,
my
long
God.
clutch at the hands of Gecko, and 10-7, they are in match point.
Kibojin, my goodness. This man was just electrifying till the very end. 1v2 successfully clutched out and gets the 12th on board. For the Covenant, they have nothing left in this map. 3 ultimates.
Yeah.
If things goes haywire, which is gonna happen, they need to commit it in this particular round. But economically, if they use it one after the other in the very round itself, it's gonna be problematic in the upcoming times. So that needs to be more economical. But one by one, there's already attacks coming forward. Paradox getting the first frag, the point of contact itself broken as the duelist is not going to function. Tricky getting all the real estate, and one by one he's taking all those players, but he could not check the back. That might be a mistake. The orbital strike being committed. It's a 1v4 situation right here. Specs, can he live up to the task? Wingman chasing him. He's been concussed, and with that comes Paradox right around the corner and takes the first map on their name. This team, what a debut, man.
What a debut from 10-7. And oh boy, I mean, like I said, it's like an all-star team. The aggression didn't even stop. And yeah, like I wanted to point it out with the way how they went in with that execute. You have 3 brimstone smokes, both of them covering the boxes and the heavens. And then you have the fort line that covers up the players who are playing at the double boxes. Followed up with the flashes that make sure that the players who are holding in towards lands are covered up. It's like everything is just prepped. They are prepped and ready, 10-7. And it is so satisfying to see the way how they execute, especially on attack, because executing on attack is a very difficult to pull off.
Indeed.
On defensive, yeah, sure, you can just counter using certain abilities. You have to just hold in using the line of sight, wait for the attackers to make their push. But when you have a thoroughly execute that basically covers important lines of sight, forcing the players to engage in close counters, it basically locks off the important lines of sight, basically forcing them on an individual 1v3 fights.
Indeed.
Where 10-7 were the ones who did end up being victorious in those rounds.
Well, every single thing which you just pointed out, Red Babagasta, the amount of flashes, how it was coming in, the preparations, it was clearly seen that they know the nooks and crannies of Bind. They are no strangers to this map at all. In any given chance, they were just anticipating every single move and understanding that, wait a second, this is the next move coming in from there, and it's all right. We can stop them. There's mosh pit coming through. There's like Molotov coming all over. Floor is lava. They're running across. And again, there is this one ult, which is being a huge pain, the showstopper. Getting the real estate day in, day out from every single corner, except for one time I could see that the opponent could not check those whereabouts of where the brimstone was, but eventually he was taken care of as well. So all of those situations tackled, done right, dusted. Bind over, second map, on we go.
Yep, second map Haven, but I also do have to admire Covenant's performance though, right here. Going up against a team like 10-7, which is in fact like an all-star team, going up against them, the Covenant, they really held their ground. I do admire their perseverance, the way how they holded their ground. They ensure that, most of the rounds that 10-7, went way too aggressive, they utilized those mistakes and used it to their advantage, right?
True that. But now it's time for the crucial moments. Let's just dive right in and understand what just happened in all of these highlights. So mind you guys, this is the crucial moments where game changer things were seen, and this was the point where I thought that the Covenant had the entire round in control, but eventually lost to it.
Yeah, I mean, at the first half, you can clearly see that the economy favored so much for Team 10-7, especially on defense. Bonus rounds is there, the pistol rounds is there, including the round next to it.
Yeah.
The Covenant, they did try to make a comeback on round 7. There were some post-run situations where the clutches did work out well in their favor, but almost all of the clutches, favored for 10-7, right? Especially for the side of Gecko.
Yeah.
Not a lot of crucial moments that we did get to witness, but at this point, you could say it was like a highlight reel for Team 10-7.
Highlight, moreover, the way they were just maneuvering around Gecko itself. Wingman, like I mentioned, he should be more often in the meta. Wingman himself provides so much ability, the utility usage itself. You can go ahead, nice and dandy, enter towards the side, tell the Wingman to go ahead and go for the plant, as the other one can go ahead and cover him. So that's the kind of plays that you can revolve around Gecko. And especially once you have the Dizzy in like 10 seconds, whenever you get it back in, that's like a game changer. You can keep abusing it, you can keep using it throughout the round and absolutely be the menace in the entire game itself. So yeah, kudos that they are revolving around Gecko and bringing it into the meta, making it to a perfect, spun story. That's one of the key things to watch.
I mean, there's also another player as well from 10-7, right? And I believe that is none other than Tricky, right? The player who plays as the Raze. My God, it's like usually when you use an operator, you'd rather have a duelist with good maneuverability abilities, right? The main reason why many many players would prefer having Chamber or Jet is that every time you get a kill, you can reposition quickly, right? You don't have to escape, just point, shoot, click, use ability, go back to safety. You're basically at the safe station and you can get like a free kill without being able to worry about the trades. That's how powerful when it comes to the movements type like Jet and Chamber, which coincides so well with the AWP.
But Raze does it better. Not gonna lie, the Satchel Pack always helps her out. No matter what the situation is, it's gonna hinder the enemy's line of sight as well. It can shake the entire aim. But yeah, talking about another thing, which is the overall performance of all of these players, as we all can understand, and we can keep speculating onto how things can be better. Raze, of course, is a really good agent to be chosen in the map of Bind. When it's like all of those close-knit corners, the paint shells is coming all across, it's gonna do a lot of damage. So yes, those have been the situations. And Tricky, how much has he given? How much has he contributed for the entire team? Let's just have a look.
Yeah, let's take a look at the scoreboard and see who is the MVP of map Bind in 10-7. 24 kills for Tricky. And also Paradox. I mean, how can I forget about Paradox? The agent that is currently playing as Deadlock, we only did get to see Annihilation being used only once or twice. The twice being especially at the last round of the first half. But all in all, we get to see Paradox with a total of 16 kills, 15 kills from Kohli, great fault line, great aftershock, great flashes, which definitely helped support Tricky to get those multiple kills.
Indeed, and talking about the Covenant, they did their level best. They tried till the very end. It was Specs who got that 15 kills on his name. Other than that, I have not seen a single guy. Yes, it's Muffin as well, who could contribute the same way, but it's just that the deaths are way too much of this entire team because they were not able to pop off so often. They were not getting the room, the breather, the space for them to have the perfect maneuverability which we are talking about, or even the movement when it comes to the map of Bind. And I did not see them utilize the teleportation that often. That was the biggest mistake from their end. Whenever you're in the attack side, you can go ahead and get things done in that way. But this is the man, Tricky, who was in need in the hour, and he delivered for the entire crew.
Yeah, 24 kills, 357 ACS, and also a total damage of 3,680. How can I forget about the first kills? Total of 7 first kill on map number 1 Bind. He was the initiate. I mean, I wouldn't say initiator. It's basically the one who initiates the first kill, and basically it just ends up being a snowball effect. It just keeps on going and going, and next thing you know, it just doesn't stop. It happened on the first half. It definitely did on the second half, even though they did lose the pistol rounds. Yes, after that, bonus round itself, they recovered it back.
Indeed.
And next thing you know, 10-7, they will secure map number 1 Bind. Map number 2 Haven, on the other hand, 3 sites, changes in agents. It will be an interesting part to see whether if the Covenant can hold their ground. On map number 1 Bind, they did a phenomenal job. but the pressure was too much to handle, especially with the amount of aggressiveness that the 10-7 was delivering it to them. Being able to contain them was really difficult, and I can understand that. It's really difficult to contain the constant pressure that 10-7 was delivering it to them. So if they really need to think of a break, I would say that utilizing timeout would be helpful, so they'll be able to reset their brains, reset their mindset, and ensure that they would be as zen as possible. But yeah, map number 2, Haven, it's the make it or break it moment for the Covenant to see whether if they can go all the way up to map number 3.
Well, true that. There's another thing, right? Like for example, in the map of Bind, we talked about those teleportations. You have 2 of them available, which I could not see them utilize that often.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, right? You need to know what your surroundings are looking like. If you do not know it, you're going to play just like a random corridor, or it's B main or A main. No, don't play it that way. Create those deviations. So yeah, that was one of the things which I did not like from the likes of the Covenant. I'm hoping that in the map of Haven, they're going to do a tad bit better. But other than that, guys, we're going to take a small little break. We're going to see you on the other side.
Spike down A. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Player standing.
Well, the first map is already a roller coaster, and we have already seen the action coming in from 7-10. What a way to start in the map of Bind itself. But moving forward, how will things look like in Haven?
Yeah, that's the question that even I'm most excited to see between Team 10-7 versus the Covenant. Because Covenant, once again, map number 1 didn't quite go well in their favor,
Yeah.
but hopefully on the second map of Haven, maybe things might favor in their way. But it always comes down to the agent selection and what types of agents will they go ahead in for the pick, right? So we'll just jump into it right away. Let's get to see the matchup of Haven between teams 10-7 versus the Covenant and take a look at it. We'll be having a slight changes. No, I believe it's a bit of a mirror matchup that's happening between the two teams.
Of course, again, coming down to the same question, who is better? We used to see the same kind of lineup in the map of Ascent, but moving forward in Haven, it's the same thing. We're going to see a cipher coming in from both the ends. The amount of information that they can relay is going to be impeccable, but it's the difference between who is choosing that option, right? Paradox on one end, he has been going ahead for that sentinel role itself, and day in, day out, he has refined it to the point where no matter what situation he's been put forth, he's gonna still deliver. But on the other end, I would really like to see how Snowflex is gonna flex his biceps.
Well said. Like I blushed actually for a second there, but yeah. Talking about the matchup itself, map number 2, Haven 10-7. Currently the ones who did secure map number 1, and they're here to lock things off on map number 2 to proceed into the next phase of the upper bracket. So let's see whether if the Covenant can make their comeback, or maybe we could see 10-7 make their way. Let's just find out as we jump right into the game. Map number 2, Haven, is unlocked.
Well, true, the action is going to be intensified, 3-sided map. It all depends on how many rounds you're going to get towards the defensive side if you're starting towards the first half itself. But yeah, if it is later on, then you need to be in the attack side and squeeze out the maximum. It's to and fro. It's like you're putting in so much pressure that all of a sudden that one single tinkle has become a diamond. So I hope that the pressure is going to be perfect in both the ends. And first off, if it goes for a 6-6, I'm going to be super impressed from both the ends. The Covenant, they have a lot to prove. And on the other end, it is the debut match. The way 10-7 has been playing, it is just impeccable. And like you mentioned, right, all-star players in this squad. And why not go ahead and showcase their A-game?
Yep. Map number 2, Haven. Pistol rounds will be on the way. As for the Covenant, their performance is looking really good, and just like you said, you just need to see how Snowflex, works out well, since they'll be the ones on defense. Mirror matchup, which means that the agents will be the same. It always comes down to who is the best agent to who, and already we get to see that in the first round itself. Tricky start things off, 2 kills back to back from the Sheriff. The next thing you know, they already have the entrance towards the side, but wait a minute, you still have the Flex all the way towards the side. Maybe he could get some kill or 2 from his end.
Oh no, where is he? He's still lurking around in the corner, and look at the crosshairs trained right at him. Snowflex good for only 1, but later on it's all about
Down C.
Deadly and Specs. Both of them just going ahead and contributing, but Tricky is still doing the heavy lifting, man. Getting 3 frags and the entirety of the round. Pistols done right, dusted, and 10-7. Yet again, a good start. Nonetheless, it's in the attacker's side, so
Yeah.
you never know what will happen next.
In the first round itself, we clearly get to see the way how Tricky just pushed in. He saw 2 of the players. Sheriff shots at the like a headshot on the Sheriff, and the second kill towards the body. Like there was a lot of shots being made, a lot of HP being dropped down when both I believe it was Senpai and Sonic who were trying to contest all the way from C long. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. They tried the level best, but the pressure was too much. And now on the second round, they're back with just the classics, and Tricky is actually going in for a risky by this time. I mean, he has the Vandal, of course, so if Tricky gets picked out, and if they get the weapon upgrade, this could be huge, but turns out Kohli just finds a turnaround with the Spectre. 2 kills back to back, and Tricky, he does the same. Vandal to find its first kill. And one tap god as well, with the Ghost as well. I mean, at this point, it's just an entire flawless round. On the second round on map Haven, where none of the players were dropped out. I mean, I can understand that since this was an eco round from the side of the Covenant, they had no other choice but to try to fight as best as possible. And unfortunately, that did not happen. So maybe on bonus round, things might go smoothly from the side of the Covenant. Maybe they'll get some maybe they'll get some Vandals or Phantoms from their end too, since knowing that this is a bonus round from their end.
Well, they are definitely forcing their hands. Bonuses on the other end, a full buy coming in. How well can you go ahead and fight against this team. Paradox, yes, he is still getting those weaponries online as the game has already gone for a pause. It's going to give the room, the space for the entirety of the Covenant to think yet again how they can re-strategize. First 2 rounds gone. How can they get the third one? Definitely have to get at least a bare minimum of 4 rounds being in the defensive side. That's just to have a decent start. But if you want a great start, then 6-6 is the scoreline that you want to look forward to or aim forward towards. And Haven is a map for attackers. We all have understood the amount of options that they have to go ahead and keep switching around those sites. And here's the thing, right? The time being the only constraint alongside the man count, right?
Yes.
Because if you don't have a man count, then there's no point in fighting the entire round. So these are the 2 criteria that you need to pass in order to get those perfect site executions. But first 2 rounds, it was again the history being repeated, similar thing which we saw in the map of Bind as well. Moving forward, how can they go ahead and imply their perfect, 1000 IQ moves? Because now is the time where they need to win those rounds. We could see in the previous one that every single time that they were going in for those full buys, they were being denied right off the bat. At a stretch, 5 rounds were conceived. So
Yeah.
that needs to be rectified.
Yeah, that has to be fixed because once you won the pistol round and you won the round next to it, bonus round is always the place where you determine that some risks has to be made. Because if you lose the bonus round and you start, dwindling down your economy even much more deeper, then having a chances of securing at least a minimum of 4 or 5 rounds in the first half will be a difficult task for them. Especially with less amount of weaponry, they'll be forced to go in with either sheriffs, marshals, outlaws, bulldogs, and maybe guardian. I'm actually surprised that I haven't seen the Covenant use guardians on most of the situations. Sure, you have the Odin. The Odin can help you with, spraying through walls, but the Guardian can also do the same thing, especially on post-plan situations where there'll be certain angles where you'd be able to wall bang and get those kills. But yeah, apparently they are going in the classic way from the side of the Covenant. Like you said, they didn't. You did say that on map bind, they didn't utilize the teleports much on the first and the second half, right? Well, I did actually see them use once, and I believe it was none other than Muffin Senpai, who was playing as the Rays. I mean, there was one round in the second half, just once. They tried to go in for the teleport. Next thing you know, Paradox and One Tap God were basically waiting for him to just open the doors. All they have to do is just say open sesame, and next thing you know, Raze is gone. and then afterwards, we didn't get to see them use the teleport anymore, especially on the second half. But like you said, I have to agree with you. They didn't use the teleport much, but hopefully on the map on Haven, maybe they'll be able to make some mistakes and see how well it goes out as we get to witness Team 10-7 pushing very aggressively and making their presence known on the B side.
Oh, they're forcing all the utilities coming forth. Sonic! This time he's going to be the Hedgehog. Gets that perfect frag onto Tricky. Tricky won't be functioning at all. But look at the players. They're blind as a bat. Every single corner is tapped in. TC, that's a big mistake. They did want to go ahead with the brunt force approach and slow flex. Finally, the moment he was about to shine, he's been denied yet again. The full buy rolls right in the court for the likes of 10-7. And now, I believe the entirety of the history has been repeating again and again. What is going on? That was a good frag and a half. All you had to do is keep repositioning yourself, go via the double doors or the garage doors, and that's where you can reposition and reach towards the back lines of the attackers. But no, they chose to do something more worse, which is enter towards the connectors, flood it all in, and in the middle of the flood, they got caught off guard.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that they haven't even executed post-plant itself. They didn't even plant the spike. 10-7 was like, you know what, let's just wait for them to push in one by one and get those kills. But meanwhile, as we take a look at round number 4, Snowflex with the Sheriff in hand, almost too close for comfort. Maybe he might get a headshot, but no, Tricky gets it with the Vandal. He pushes in very aggressively as Paradox also starts to clean up the players who are currently going deep towards the spawn. And Paradox, it's just an entire clean out at this point. The Covenant, they are just wall bangs from Kohli all the way from the backside. And next thing you know, it's just another chaotic round. 4 rounds back to back, 10-7. I mean, at this point, it is a slaughter.
In the midst of all the chaotic rounds, it's 10-7 just sitting there laughing and being like, you know what? We can do you guys something better. Let's give you the economical crunch. let's make you guys think about how good would a Vandal look in your hand rather than you're opting for a Sheriff. And those are the kind of mistakes that this team is doing again and again. Now they finally have yet another buy, and again, if they get denied of it, it's all gonna go in tatters. They have to force their hand to go in for those teensy-meensy buys, and then later on go ahead and prove themselves yet again, being constantly pastured. Specs, he did get the first frag. There was a really good bait and switch right there, but there are trades coming back and forth. With this trade, they're not going to be opting to head towards the same site again.
Yeah. That is a good recovery though, I'm not gonna lie. The player who was actually stuck near Specs' location, that actually helped. But the Rolling Thunder though basically gives away his location. He's been concussed, but somehow Sonic is there to, to try to get that trade. It's 4 to 5. Snowflakes once again, information is crucial, so he'll be able to pop up the ultimate, the neural theft. He finds one. No, he actually doesn't. Kibojin just ends up getting away with the kill. It's all up to Sonic. It's 1v2. So is very low on HP. And Kohli pokes it, Kohli peeks it at the right time. He gets the kill. And so is the plant. 5 to 0. 10-7. 5 wins. And the Covenant, no response yet.
Yeah, they're still poking the bear. Checking that finally the bear is going to be annoyed and they're going to be frustrated and give away one round or so. But it's not happening. The amount of cool, calm collectedness that is there in the likes of 10-7 is just evident. They're not at all budging down. They were constantly thinking about one thing and one thing only. It's all right if Jet goes in as well. It's okay. Let us take out the Rolling Thunder, get the entire access towards the site, and hold up. Tricky is holding an Odin.
Yeah.
Tricky being the Jet. Usually I've seen something better. I've seen operators in the hands of all the duelists, but it's all right. It's a slaughter fest. It's a frag fest coming yet again. The cleanup crew heading towards site A. It's a big rush, and now is the time where the Covenant is thinking that we made a big mistake giving them all the real estate. Now the retake is not going to be that easy. It might be a flawless round coming forth, but it's Specs who is showcasing his individual gameplay with that Sheriff. But for how long? Gets the second. Third one is not going to be that easy.
Yep. Have you ever seen a flying jet with an Odin in hand? Well, now I've seen it all.
Flying Odin.
Yeah, a flying Odin. Tricky, once again. It's like, if I don't get kills, that's not a big problem.
Oh my god, that's creepy.
Guys, for a brief moment, I actually saw Auzo Raid and he just got a very brief amount of jump scare. It's
flinched.
just a cute teddy bear. Like,
It's
how is that
not.
scary?
It's very scary.
It's not scary, all right?
Especially when he's looking upon the Covenant like they did not even get even a single round. He's like, oh my god, guys. You should have gotten one round at least at the bare minimum.
I believe you could say that the Covenant couldn't bear it. But yeah.
Oh, that was a good pun. Baba Gusta, that was a good pun.
Oh boy, all in all, a tactical timeout will be requested from the side of the Covenant. They really need it. It's best to take a timeout, refresh yourself. It's the first half. It's not the end of the match just yet. You still have a lot more rounds to go. And you've got to be careful though in these certain situations. Now you clearly get to see that Muffin Senpai has the op in hand. You clearly can see the way how 10-7 operates on these attacks, right? You see, especially in the previous round, you see fault lines. You even saw, information from the recon, from Sova and the Hunter's Fury. Like, the coordination is on point. The synergy of these abilities is just so good.
Not only that, the amount of money alongside every single time Muffin Senpai has thought about going ahead and initiating or getting a first blood drawn, he's been denied 6 times.
6 times.
It's checkers at this point of time.
Looking at the economy from 10-7, it feels like they could buy themselves a new property.
Yep. One property which will completely seal an entire site. But at the end of this, we're going to decide which property is it going to be. Is it C, B, or A? Because currently they have been entering towards site C very often, but now all of a sudden the tides have shifted, it has turned, they're heading towards site A. Yet again, the floodgates all open, it's a gaping hole. No matter where you see, it's a frag fest, it's a slaughter coming through. Last man standing takes a shot, but I don't think so it's going to be that easy against Kibojin having the shotty in his hand. And he's like, let me humble you, let me take that operator and show the same action in the next following round.
Oh boy. I just hope that the Covenant wouldn't feel too demotivated from this. It's usually, it happens on certain matches like this, but since you are, in the showdown series, it is challenging, right? You would always face these certain challenges. And I mean, looking at the match as of now, I can clearly say that 10-7 are basically dominating the first half. And for the Covenant, they are just miles away of reaching the lower brackets of this matchup. It turns out no one is actually at C. It's free real estate.
Kibon, the way he's initiating all of the things, he's giving the room, he's giving the space, the flashes are on point, and every time there is some kind of movement, it's Kibon just going ahead, decimating anyone he can see. That was a big flop coming through, and with that, Paradox knows that the enemy is already weak, and the losses are just piling forward and forward. Snowflakes, being the last man standing, did go ahead and get a couple of shots, but Kibon, he needs to stop running around with a shot in his hand. Look at him.
At first it was the flying jet, now it's the flying breach.
I'm afraid he's been breached.
Yeah, that is evidently the right answer. I mean, especially for Snowflakes though. Granted, is like he did try to get like 2 or 3 kills, but yeah, it's 8-0. Actually, it's 0-8 favoring for Team 10-7. But yeah, this is not looking good. Not looking good at all for the side of the Covenant. And like we still have 3 more rounds left, right? 3 more rounds left to end the first half. The Covenant are facing major issues, especially on the execute itself. They haven't even gone towards post plant. The execute itself, everyone is being picked out left, right, and center. But maybe this round we might have a chance because Muffin Senpai, he's still alive.
Finally, I can see that DC is going ahead and getting the round of their own. Last man standing, Aldrone in hand, gets the information, but for how long? There's another Aldrone coming through, and there goes Kohli's information reveal alongside the first round coming in for the likes of the Covenant. This was a much needed round, but I believe it's way too late. They're like 3 more rounds after this, and somehow they need to squeeze all 3 on their name. But with the likes of how they're playing, it seems tad bit impossible.
I mean, there is still 4 rounds left. So if the Covenant, 3 rounds left. So if the Covenant does choose to, play it safe or try to figure out a way to manage the aggressive playstyle that you'd expect, maybe try to expend some utilities from C long, maybe it could help. But right now, the choo-choo train is still in effect. They're not going to put a stop to it, but somehow Specs ends up getting 2-1 tap, immediately trades it out. And now it's a 2v3 situation where the Covenant might still have a chance at this post plant.
Oh, the entire real estate, Site C under the control, but the target is still there. It's being constantly pinged. Deadly, good brain play right there. Kibochin still trying to go ahead, move in towards the other corner, but Kibon, he could not do much. Getting the second on board, seems like the entire team is looking confident. So the other 2 rounds, how are they going to go? Even though they were being constantly pastured by all the utilities, no matter recon darts or even the Aldrone constantly pinging the location, they still managed to squeeze this one onto their own name. The potential is there for the likes of the Covenant. All they're doing is playing it way too passive. Play actively, play aggressively. That's where you can stop the first player itself, which is tricky.
Yeah. And now for the Covenant, they just need to keep their momentum going to make sure that in the first half, they could at least salvage those 2 rounds so that in the second half, they would have a chance. But right now, all eyes on the A side as the smokes are in play. So is the headshot from Kohli out of nowhere, picking out Snowflakes. He's like, what just happened? Post plant is in, so is the tensions from the Covenant as the time starts to tick down the spike.
The time I told Lovely was the time where I thought that it was a really good read coming in from the likes of the Covenant. But all of a sudden, that read coming in from Kohli was so deadly. My God. No matter what happens, look at Kohli. He's still running around, ham, just waiting for any opponent to, be in front of the crosshair. But it's still possible. Sonic going ahead, getting all of those frags alongside Deadly. Oh my God.
That's the turning point.
The Covenant. All of a sudden, the round which was not theirs, they had no business in winning them, Man count disadvantage. That converted so quick, so soon. Things just fell apart for 10-7.
Just because we get to see 10-7 dominate all the way up to 8 rounds doesn't mean that the match is over yet, folks. The Covenant, they are fighting back, and they made sure that they would get all 4 rounds. Actually, 3 rounds if they win this. For the last round before role swap in the first half, 8-4 would be a really good recovery for the Covenant. It's just that the timeout has already been used, so maybe in the second half, having a breather would definitely help. But once again, for 10-7, they're not going to put a stop to it. They're not waiting for picks. It's just an instant execute with the help of Sova's recon for info, the owl drone for info as well, some pre-fires to ensure that the players who are playing nearby towards the smokes are, basically making sure that they won't make any more plays in the future. But yeah, there you go. The execute is in. So is Deadly. 2 shots back-to-back from the Phantom. But he forgot about Paradox, who was lurking all the way from mid, but it's still not enough. Deadly and Specs makes the job done, ending the first half on a 4-8 scoreline.
Wow, that was a good recovery. This will for sure make the entire team feel that excitement that they can win against 10-7 in this particular map. Everything was out there. Neural theft all across the information game could have been very, very strong, but the swing itself was so phenomenal. Talking about a factoid, Snowflakes is the backbone of the Covenant's defense, holding strong positions and often turning rounds around with key frags when it matters the most. And yes, indeed, this man has been calling off all of those shots. He's been going in guns blazing and all of his tripwires coming in the right direction towards the site. Earlier on, he was stipulated towards site C, and then later on, he understood that it's going to be an A hit every single time. So he kept on doing what he does best and got that information. But now Snowflakes, we were just talking about him, he has already been shut down by the likes of Tricky.
Yeah, Tricky already starting things off with the first blood. We did get to see that on map number 1, but wait a minute, Kibojin, he has no idea that the players is very close. He gets picked out. Specs and Sonic, both of them have captured the site, but the spike is dropped, so it's going to be even much more difficult for them because they have to figure out another way to get control of it. They still get the kills, which leads to Kohli, all left by his lonesome. 1v2 post-plant. Can he clutch this?
Planted.
Oh, that was a beautiful shock dart though. Beating the enemy to pulp. Muffin Senpai. He's still waiting out there, thinking that it might be a rotation coming in, but it's long where his following player is wanting to head towards Kohli. If he gets a first shot onto Muffin Senpai, it's going to be an easy 1v1 battle. The deadliest one indeed. Recon dart available, but he won't be alive for that. Sonic jumps on the logs and takes on the perfect headshot. Kohli, for now, he's not going to be seen as a pistol round has already been won by the Covenant. So from here on, they have the bonus and they have that snowball effect in their side because it's constant, 5 rounds they have won back-to-back?
Yep. I believe it was 8 rounds back-to-back from the side of 10-7, and then it was the rest of the 4 rounds. The Covenant have managed to snatch it to ensure that the recovery would be good in the first half, because ending a first half on a 12-0 is not good. So ending it on a 8-4 gives them at least a fighting chance for the Covenant to fight back. Some aggressive attempts though from Tricky. Might be able to tack some major damage towards Jet, and since you don't have a Sage for healings, you could rely on certain regens. But wait a minute, Sonic, an important pick as he'll be able to take out Kohli, opening the entire sides of A, and now the pressure is on for the side of 10-7.
They're just going to be chilling out here. They know that they have to play it more cautiously. It's all right if the plant goes in. It's all about the execution now, the retake. How well can they strategize themselves, waiting for the right opportunity? It's going to be a rush coming through, shots fired. And from here on, they're just rushing, bombarding all of those bullets. Tricky, good for one. Kibon, but on the other end, he's taken as a collateral. The Covenant, they still have the man count advantage alongside the weaponry. Tricky still trying his level best. Paradox on the other end, he did salvage one weapon with which he's taking out all the benefits of it. Couple of frags on his name, but for how long can he run the same kind of mayhem? Has a couple of tripwires as well, but he won't get the time to go ahead and place it. Save it for the next following round so that you don't have to pay for it. But 1 HP is what he's left with. as the spike is taking in. Both of them skedaddle. They know that it's about to take right off, so might as well stay away from the radius, not drop those weapons.
Yep, 6-8. As the Covenant so slowly begins to mount a comeback. And for 10-7, well, they're currently the ones facing the deficit of the situation in the second half of Map Haven. 17 kills to Paradox, 15 kills for Sonic. And for Muffin Senpai, currently on the bottom of the leaderboards with 4, but not to worry, he's been helping quite a lot in the attack phases especially with the executes that Muffin has been providing. So all in all, this round could definitely shape the way how Covenant would, change the entire plot of this entirety. Fault line will be used. Hopefully, most of them would be concussed. Kibojin is a little bit, afraid that there might be a teleport all the way towards the top side, and maybe they won't. Although for Paradox, he might face a lot of major problems because there's a P coming in from Muffin Senpai. He secures one tap guard. There's no smoke. He might be able to get fun. He will, and he gets away with safety. Aftershock, he needs to fall back. There is one more holding in towards the heavens, and that is none other than Kohli. Actually, not heaven, it's garage window. But yeah, plants will be made. The Covenant have secured the site. How will they deal with the post plant? But no, Kohli just goes way too aggressive. Kibojin gets one, Tricky gets the other. One tap guard all the way from the side. Specs is all the way from behind. Sheriff missed, but still gets it. Still not enough. Tricky gets the final kill, and with it, we will see 10-7 recover back with the post plant.
Oh my god. That was a futile attempt. They did get the entire side control, but later on they could not stand tall when it comes to the post-plant situation or the positioning itself. Wow. A good round indeed. From here on, 10-7, they're going to be heading to that ascension. They are going to charge forward. Specs, if he would have landed that shot perfectly, things would have shaped up to be better than what was looking like. But okay, it is what it is. 9-6, ladies and gentlemen. And in both the ends, they have a good amount of weaponry, except for the couple of bulldogs where I could see from the likes of 10-7 that they are still seeming like they will struggle in this one. But it's all about those angles, right? Those cutthroat angles where you're just waiting for the opponent to not check that corner. It's that moment where this team can go ahead and get those frags.
Yeah. Looks like they're going to repeat the same push like they did in the previous round. Paradox he's gonna slowly fall back. He knows exactly what's happening. Contesting in a 1v3 is not a good idea, so a little bit of wall bangs will be made. Flashes will catch both of them, but no pushes will be made from the garage window. And here comes the push from the side of 10-7.
Wow.
Not a single kill being made. The jump attempts will be made. Tibon will go out. So is one tap guard. As Multi-Senpai makes his presence, so is Paradox. 3 kills back to back. And now it's a 2v2 situation, and next thing you know, it's a 1v1. Kohli gets the shot. Garage, it's just entirely chaos. Spike's been dropped out, and Sonic, he needs to recover it. He has the flash. Can catch it. No, almost very low on HP. But somehow, the fault line will take quite a lot of damage. It's a classic. Second hit, it doesn't hit. Sonic gets it, and just like that, the Covenant, so close for comfort. 11 HP. The burst classic didn't work out. And the Covenant, once again, they will manage to seal the round.
Unfortunately, he right-clicked the door.
Yeah.
He right-clicked the door. That was a really good opportunity. He knew that the opponent is waiting for the spike to be picked right off. But the desperate attempt of Sonic to go ahead and use a Rolling Thunder, that's a big bait coming in. 10-7 is not going to be altogether sad about it. They're going to be equally happy that they could bait that ultimate out. Now the control is not going to be that easy. He needs to again get all of those ult orbs and then bring back that Rolling Thunder. Mid control this time. They plan to head towards C itself via the link. The garage is one of the places where they're bombarding themselves with, and the others are just holding the angles right. Oh my god, one tap god. The amount of shots he has already connected with that classic, that's a lot of value for a weapon which costs absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they'll be falling back for now. I must also get to see Paradox being very close, but you forgot about the Spectre run and gun. Just go away, just dodging bullets as he secures it. C-side is all theirs. Muffin Senpai providing pressure all the way deep towards mid B, and this is definitely not looking good for 10-7 as they have limited weaponry. Not a lot of guns to go through, but somehow they are trying to get some great value out of it, especially with Kibon. He secures one, taking out the duelist, but here comes Snowflex once again to deny any damage that's been dealt around. It's a triple kill for him. He's about to go for his fourth, but he's very low on HP. Gets the weapon upgrade, pushes, Kohli, he finds another one with the classic, but it's still not enough. So this economy round, 10-7 have managed to secure 2 kills, but for the Covenant, their economy is booming. 8-9, one more round for the equalizer.
The amount of ultimates that currently Covenant has, first off from the shadows, especially once you're the attacker, you can go ahead and make some fancy plays using from the shadows, retrieving the spike, heading towards XYZ destination, and going in for that post-plant scenario. And there's this one player from the likes of Bleed that I've seen who has accomplished an ace just to go ahead and clutch it out. It was in this map itself and in the very link where he could go ahead and squeeze all of those things right out. Now, it's the R for Tricky to go ahead and shine Sonic. Instantly, he's been sent back home. Like, come right back towards the next following round. Paradox getting the inside, and every single one of them who's heading towards site A has been denied. There's still that tripwire waiting for Deadly, and if Deadly chooses to opt out, the option to head towards the site, and it's all gonna be a lost cause. Kohli did spray through. He did not just get that man 2 HP. Kohli, this time he bunny hops and right clicks, and this time it connects. Deadly, the last man standing. What can he do? Gives no answer to it. As 10-7, they get their 10 on board.
Now that's what I like to call a certified hood classic from the Sova. Just jumping around the sides. He secures the odd shots. And now a timeout will be requested from the side of Covenant. They are this close, so it's really good for them to go ahead and take out this timeout. 10-7's is an aggressive approach, and also when it comes to the side, you can clearly see the amount of out of nowhere aggressive pushes that's been coming around from the side, right? Especially from the Sova. Once realizing that he doesn't have enough mag for the Vandal, he went in for the pistol commit, and once he did, eventually he did end up winning that fight as well. So they have to reset. They have to figure out a way to how to manage to deny these aggressive attempts that's been placed from the side of 10-7. And also taking a look at the factoid, Tricky is a fast-paced duelist who loves taking the first fight. His quick reactions and decision makings were the key to 10-7's 13-5 win on the first map. And of course we did get to see that with that Blade Storm. Man oh man, updraft, sees the head, clicks, falls back, and next thing you know, 10-7, they gave the Covenant a tricky situation.
All right, that was a good attempt.
I mean, it was tricky for me to say it out loud in sentence, but yeah.
That was better now. All right. And guys, if you don't want to get stuck in all of these tricky situations, there are some Crucial's latest DDR5 RAMs alongside Crucial's SSDs, X9 Pro. Go ahead, check it out. All of those links down in the description alongside it's been pinned on the chat section as well, as the entire pin is there towards Site C. One Tap God is just towards the garage and he's just looking at all of that action unfold right in front of him. He's like, all right, guys, it's a push towards side C and it's a post plant as well. The retake equally good. Couple of players heading towards the backside. C-Long is one of the places that they need to win the battle. If not, things are going to get very dicey. It's an open plant and Tricky wins that one. Paradox just nailing it. Left, back and center. There comes the entire follow-up and the entire team crumbles down as a Cookie Monster is out there living with a flawless victory in this round.
Yep, outsmart, outlive, and outlast. Flawless round win for Team 10-7 as the score count of 11-8. Yeah,
that's a lot of out.
Yeah, I mean it's outsmart, outdeliver,
outplayed.
But yeah, all in all, the Covenant, like the timeout, especially they needed that, and the Covenant, they really did a great job on try to go in for that execute. Unfortunately, when the post plant arrived, they didn't had enough amount of abilities to try to block lines of sight, head in for the flashes and most of the stuff. But yeah, all in all, the Covenant, they still have the Hunter's Fury. So is 10-7 from the Shadows, and Hunter's Fury is also available from their end. So the garage push from One Tap God and Tricky is just so, they're just dominating. There's nothing I could say at this point. The match has just started and
What?
immediately it's a 1v2. 10-7. They're just like, speed is the way, and in speed, they decided to end things off in a 1v1 situation. The Covenant still has a chance to, to try to salvage this. And maybe
I
the
don't
push could
think so.
happen, but no, it's not going to happen. Paradox will secure it for the team. 10-7, match point and map point on Haven.
They're showcasing the speed at which they can enter towards a round and exit as well. I don't know at the very end what happened right there. They just got way too greedy to get the last man standing, the Omen, the Spec, and Spec was like constantly throwing all of those bullets at the opponents. And Guardian, my goodness, the penetration on this weapon is just next level. One shot to the head, it'll put you down to the nap that you ever get in your life, the best snap ever. And Soflex this time around, they don't have the money to go ahead and get those weapons, Vandals, Phantoms, right? So they are cheaping out on a lot of things. Paradox on the other end, he does not cheap out. He's not going to give the discount. He's going to get out of those frags. And the Hunter's Fury has been committed just to take down one player. That is Paradox.
Yep, that's Paradox for you. But let's not forget, you still have the Cypher from the side of the Covenant slowly inching towards the C side, but he gets picked out immediately from Tricky. So basically, he has Spidey sense at this point. He knows exactly where the lurks are coming from the side of the Covenant. It's a 4v2. The Covenant are losing sight. They're losing grasp of the situation, but somehow they're trying their level best. The Guardians will claim the life of the Sova as Sonic is playing very close. He gets one more. Looks like Team 10. They are not. They're just making sure to end this out, and they will evidently do. 8-13 will be the final score count. 2-0 for the side of Team 10-7.
Wow. Wow, that was a beautiful performance. The entire team was filled with the confidence and they kept on pushing. And yeah, the crucial moments itself is going to decipher a lot of things. It's going to make us understand the amount of mistakes that were committed from the likes of the Covenant. But on the other end, even if there was some mistakes from the likes of 10-7, they still managed to go ahead and get those next following rounds. They did not let those mistakes affect them in any which case. And that's the thing, right? That's what makes you the best team out there. That you need to just mentally reset yourself and head right back into the battle yet again. That's the reason you keep respawning, you get the option to get those buys, and the entire team worked as a single unit. But on the other end, the Covenant, they were functioning individually, hands, limbs just going left, right, back, and center. And that's the big mistake, right? If you're not gonna be picturizing yourself as one single unit and not go in ham against the enemies where they're just constantly holding all of those close-knit action angles, you cannot defeat them, man. You cannot defeat them going in for that single fight.
And the important part about Haven is that it's not just about the sight, but the control towards mid. You can clearly see the amount of aggressive maneuvers that you get to witness from the side of Team 10-7, right? You have two players pushing from garage, you have two players pushing deep within mid. No one was trying to handle out all the way from mid window, right?
Right.
So there has to be some defensive maneuvers in which they tried. The Covenant really did try when they were on attack, but when you're going up against a 1v2 situation, it's very difficult because even if you do get the kill, you would eventually get traded out.
Exactly.
And in order to counter those, you either have to expend some of the utilities, maybe like a flash or maybe like a smoke to block off line of sights. But all in all, I have to say a really great performance though from the Covenant, knowing that especially on the first half, it was an 8-0, and then the Covenant decided to bring it back, winning 4 rounds in a row. That's dedication right there from the Covenant.
It is.
Because most of the situations, especially when I saw the first half, I felt like, wait a minute, I think 10-7 could go all the way. They could end up a flawless match win to like a 12-0 or a 13-0, right? But it didn't happen. The Covenant did give a fight. I appreciate their admiration, but unfortunately, they have to go all the way down to the lower brackets where they have to, where they still have a final chance to fight at the Showdown series.
Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. But here's the thing, right? A big point which needs to be notified right here is the ways things were just forging for them. They had the potential. They could go ahead and get those rounds and they could end the Cinderella effect, which was going in, the snowball effect that constantly 10 was getting in. They were getting those rounds at a stretch nonetheless. They were denying the opponents from whatever buy rounds they were getting, forcing them onto pistols, sheriffs, upgrade them. That's it. That's the maximum option that they got. But right after that, the comeback game was really, really good. I was hoping that it carries on till the very end and push things towards ascent, but no, it did not happen. Right there, 10 just had that kryptonite against this Superman. So yeah, Covenant, they need to, focus more on those trades as well, which I could see losing a lot of potential in it. Throughout the game, the way they were just entering towards the fight, in the beginning, they were getting shot right off, yes, but the trades were not coming in. You need to play a tad bit more smarter. It's okay if one of your team members is already gone. Just get that information, heavily rely on it, and go ahead, give it your best.
Yeah, let's take a look at the scoreboard as well for map number 2. And I believe the stats will also be an amazing one to look at between team 10-7 versus the Covenant. Currently, the MVP is none other than Sonic, 18 kills on the side of the Covenant, and Paradox, the lone sentinel, the lurker, which ended up getting multiple kills on both the first half and the second half for 10-7, the total of 25 kills.
Kudos, man. Kudos. Paradox. Well, yeah, he did do his 100% right there in the entire game. Tricky getting those opening frags was very crucial. He kept on delivering it for the entire crew. And even though he was dying right off the bat, it's okay. He was getting a couple of frags, either 3 or 2 or 1 at the bare minimum. So those kind of situations kept on giving 10 the upper advantage. And with that advantage, they kept on moving forward and pressurizing the opponents, the Covenant, to force their hands. And with that, with all of the situations being handcuffed, they could not prove that they are lethal.
Yeah, absolutely are. And also, just like you said, this is their debut, right? And this is their debut performance, 13-8, especially in the Showdown series. 10-7, 13-8 on second map, 25 kills for Paradox, and Tricky, currently the duelist, a total of 19 kills. And of course, how can I not forget about the initiator, the Breach, with a total of 17 kills. And also, let's take a look at the MVP of the matchup as well. And of course, it's none other than our boy Paradox. 25 kills, 3 first kills, 5k damage, and a headshot percentage of 33.87.
Well, true, he has been doing the heavy lifting, but I want to know, the bigger picture here is who is the entire series MVP?
Oh, yeah.
Who has crowned himself? Who did the heavy lifting throughout the entire game? That's going to be the next following question, which will get answered. MVP of the series, of course, is going to be Tricky. This man did a hell of a job getting all of those first bloods, 11 first kills, which gives the entire team the perfect stance to fight against a 5v4 situation. Even if it goes for trades, it's all right. It's going to be the upper hand of 10 itself.
Yep, 43 kills, 11 first kills, 7.4k damage, 22% headshot, and of course an ADR of 191. This Tricky is currently the MVP of this matchup against the side of Team Covenant. So all in all, it's a really great matchup to start things off, especially at the day 2nd of the Showdown series. Season 7, 2-0, 10-7. Definitely, it'll be a force to be reckoned with, especially at the upper bracket matchups, right? Because we still have another match to go for the upper brackets, and the second matchup will also be an interesting one.
Of course, it's going to be an interesting one. Guys, you all are watching the Showdown series, man. Everything is going to be interesting henceforth. It's about the battle. It's about how things are going on. And yes, with all of that, we have few things in store as well for you all to go ahead and upgrade your PCs to give the utmost performance till the very end. First off, it's going to be the crucial RAMs, the DDR5 5600 CL46 RAM, which delivers 1.75 times faster speed than an average DDR4 RAM. And we all have been in that situation, right? We open multiple tabs on Chrome and all of a sudden our memory is a bust. We cannot go ahead and utilize, it's stuttering. And with that stutter, you're like, I want to break the PC, punch it. But you can't punch it because the monitor is so expensive. You can't punch the table because the table is so expensive. So
anger is
might
not
as
the
well,
answer, folks.
might as well go ahead and upgrade your RAMs to get a better performance. Alongside, we have the SSDs as well.
Of course, absolutely. We have the crucial X9 Pro portable SSD with a blazing fast speed up to 1050 megabytes per second. So if you really want your SSD, go ahead, check out the store. Link is down in the description below and also on the pinned comments. And of course, we also need to give a shout out for this amazing studio that we are here right now.
Exactly.
Especially the Ascent Valorant studio that is powered by Brainstorm, designed by Fury, and beautifully executed by the Esports Club, where esports is done right.
That's right, guys. You all know it. And this was the first action, right? The first game itself was a banger of a start. 2-0, yes, it was a landslide victory, but the Covenant did give their 100%. But I believe it's just it is pretty much it for now, because the first game is over. The second game is going to be right after this short interval. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
When are you gonna upgrade your system? Alright, let's do this.
Once there was a hunter who saw what others could not. With a magic case in her backpack, she roamed with wild abandon into the great unknown. Her gaze inescapable, her reflexes lightning fast. When armies swarmed, she went through. With eyes open wide, hands steady, holding, watching, capturing everything in sight.
The Crucial Pro DDR5 RAM kit comes with a sleek, modern look that will complement any build. But aesthetics aside, it's the performance that really matters. So let's dive into it. The default JEDEC timings are 46, 45, 45, but it does come with 2 XMP and Expo settings for those looking for a little more performance. With XMP 3.0 Profile 1, you can push the speed up to 5600 megatransfers per second. If you prefer a slightly lower speed but tighter timings, Profile 2 offers 5200 megatransfers per second at 42, 42, 42 timings. We've run some benchmarks and stress tests to give you an idea of how it performs. In general, dropping the speed and tightening the timings with the second XMP/Expo profile yielded better results for us on our test system. Paired with a Ryzen 7800X 3D, we saw anywhere from a 1 to 5% performance bump depending on workloads. All in all, the Crucial Pro DDR5 64GB RAM kit by Micron is a fantastic choice for first-time builders and enthusiasts alike.